Joint venture partners, the best way to find and secure them. If you're talking about one of the fastest ways to hit the tipping point in your market so that most everyone knows who you are, they see the value that you offer, you need to start thinking about establishing alliances or joint venture partners. This is simply where you have another person in your space, a guru, an influencer, somebody that is really trying to add value in the marketplace, and they're building their own list. They have either a subscriber list or a customer list, could be in the thousands, hundreds of thousands, and way on up. These people have spent the time cultivating relationships with their community over many, many years. This is like going to the top of the food chain for people that might have tens of thousands of customers that you could potentially work out some type of an arrangement where you would promote their product and they give you a percentage, whatever that is, and they may promote your product and they give you and you give them a percentage. There are two primary benefits to this. Number one is the credibility by association. I mean, if you could land a joint venture partnership with some industry influencer that's been around, has that brand awareness in your space, my goodness. Again, you could hit critical mass overnight and you've already attached to that credibility. So naturally, some of that stardust, quote unquote, rubs off on you. So you are known as a person of value. The number two thing is it can be very lucrative. I remember when I was just starting out, 2005, 2006, no one knew who I was. I just had an idea and I had a solution that no one was offering in the marketplace. Mine just happened to be very unique since there weren't any people that were using social media to grow their practice or their business. And when I started reaching out to different partners, yes, some told me no, for instance, but some told me yes because they were very intrigued by my idea. Now, I get a lot of joint venture requests today, and I refuse 99% of them. And the reason why I do that is for a couple reasons. Number one is this individual is relatively new. They haven't built any influence or delivered really any value to the space that they're coming into, and their product is not really as unique and original as they think. So when you approach a joint venture partner, you have to think of that. Like, always go into the relationship, how can I add value to this person's life? I love what Joe Polish says. He talks about life gives to the givers and takes from the takers. Don't be a taker. That's where influencers all across the board, could be celebrities, could be micro influencers. These people are always having others come up to them and say, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Don't be like them. Approach the relationship with value first, or potentially make a connection that could be very powerful. I remember one instance in San Diego. I went to a seminar way back, and this was probably around 2009, 2010. And there was it was a Frank Kern event, actually, Mass Control. So one of his clients was up there speaking, and this gentleman was very big in the self-help niche and just launched a program, and really in 6 months he just shot really to the top. So I thought, I know this other guy in the self-help niche, and he's growing his list really, really fast. Well, I ended up talking to this gentleman at the end of this event and say, hey, one of my buddies is doing this and that. I'd like to be able to give him your contact information if it's okay, so maybe you all can have a conversation. Well, it turns out they hit it off really, really well, and that relationship went on to do over six figures in the first year through joint venture partners. So I first established value as a connector in that field. But just to give you an idea of how profitable it can be, when I first had my initial joint venture partner, I remember making almost $5,000 from just the sale of my products with one simple email to this guy's list. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Here's how to find joint venture partners. Trade publications. If you're really serious about being involved in your niche, you should be subscribing to magazines, online and offline. There was a time where I would go to offline magazines and see who was consistently advertising in there, who was writing articles for these publications, and I would reach out to them and just have conversations and try to deliver value. And naturally, some joint ventures just spawn because of that thing alone. So don't forget about trade publications, live events or seminars. If you can get eye to eye with a person, you're going to be remembered much, much better than just somebody that contacts them online, because I get so many messages every single week. If it's a bigger influencer, they might get hundreds of messages per week or DMs in their Twitter or Instagram, things like that. But if you can come face to face with someone and they look in your eyes and you can have some type of bonding experience, that can just totally change things forever. Another instance that happened to me actually at that same seminar, I ended up purchasing my course through another gentleman's link who was an influencer in the space as well. And he offered a private dinner. He said, hey, if you buy this course, yeah, I get an affiliate commission, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to a dinner when I go to the event, and it's a private mastermind. So I thought that was an amazing experience. Well, turns out when I purchased this course, got to go to the dinner, there were only, I would say, maybe 10, 12 people in attendance at this private dinner. We were there for 3 hours hanging out with this guy that had been in this space for a long time. I learned so much that night, established so many great connections. I mean, I was meeting people that were on Oprah the following week. It was pretty insane how I was able to essentially buy speed, get into that room. So look out for those opportunities like that. But live events and seminars and meetings, I mean, they can change your life very, very quick. I always talk about that when I promote my events, because I do the same format and model what I found to be successful. If you want to get in a room with high-powered players, I mean, you're going to grow much, much faster that way in all regards. Google search or AdWords. This is another great way to find potential joint venture partners, and I'll show you how to do that in 1 second. Social media platforms. There are so many groups on Facebook right now around specific topics, and whatever you decide to go into, you can find these moderators or group organizers and potentially strike up relationships with them, add value to what they have to offer, and you might be surprised what can come of it. How to get on an influencer's radar. Well, you could either send them a message or an email. Sometimes that works. Most of the time, it's probably not going to be as effective because you'll be drowned out with the other people. Meet them in an event. As I mentioned before, that's a great way because now you are face to face with this person. You can have a conversation, and many things can establish that way. Arguably the best way. You can become an affiliate and make money for them. I did this same thing. I started making money for other people promoting, like, in this course in Module 1, you've learned how to do affiliate marketing the right way. So if you do it the right way for any given product or program, you get on an affiliate's radar, you start making them a few $1,000s every single month and upwards of 5 figures like what I was doing. You're going to have their ear. So if you eventually want to reach out and have a conversation, you're going to get that conversation. And this happened to me actually the following year. I returned for the same seminar, but when I returned for the same seminar, I had already made this other affiliate a lot of money, so I was able to bend his ear all night. He was enthused that I was there and that I was promoting his service, and listen, you're making somebody 10 grand a month, it's hard to ignore them. But even with that, even though I was making him money, I was still trying to be a person of value in the relationship. Use their product, get results, and give them a great and real testimonial. This is a big deal. It has to be real and authentic. If you just say something online and you really haven't used their product or service, well, it's not going to fly too well. It's not going to be genuine. But if you have a real experience, I'm not talking about a product that directly competes with you either. These should be potentially, definitely in the same niche and industry, but similar, maybe not competing, or completely lateral products. Now, I've seen it happen where, yeah, it could be directly competing, and you could have a slight different spin, but preferably if it's not direct. Commission structure for these joint venture relationships, I've seen it. Again, depends on the product. If it's a digital product, if it's a physical product, if you come to me, for example, just like any top affiliate or a person that's established influence in a space, well, naturally, they're going to expect a higher commission to promote your product. Nothing less, probably, than 40%. And sometimes, like even with our products, we have 25% commissions. Some we have more, but if you don't have any bargaining power in the relationship, your commission will obviously be lower. Now, if you've got a list of 10,000, 50,000 people, that's bargaining power. And I'm not talking about a list that you buy. I'm talking about a list that you've organically accumulated through offering ethical bribes. You've got your free report, you're sending people to that page, they're giving you their name and email. So you've built a very trustworthy relationship with them. Now, I'm going to take you to my joint ventures page that I actually crafted out because I get a lot of requests and I like to filter out based on this alone. And you might eventually do the same thing for yours as you establish some type of influence in your space. But I basically lay out, to put it bluntly, I'm a results type of person. Things that are important to me, boom. Here's how it usually happens, boom. And I'm very, very direct with the relationships, and this is going to hurt a lot of feelings for some people. But it keeps the people that are just taking away. And if you're not coming to a relationship with value, well, you don't even have a chance right from the get-go. Okay, so moving on. Let's go ahead and look at Google if you were going to try to use the search engine to find potential joint venture partnerships. Let's use the paleo niche again. Let's say I type in paleo breakfast recipes. You've got a product in the paleo niche, and this could be a great lateral thing. It doesn't maybe directly compete. Maybe it does. I mean, again, you have to go case-by-case basis. But this could be a great way to find partners. Now, the first thing I like to look at is anyone advertising here? I don't see these ads up this way. I see something from Delish, the Paleo, Running Mama, Brit plus CO. If I scroll all the way down, I might see some ads though. So related searches. No, I don't see any ads on this page. But if I look on the first page at these, some of these are going to be very, very mainstream type of websites, and you're not going to have any chance initially to do any joint venture partner with like a menshealth.com or something. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But you need to find people that are a little bit smaller, that are entrepreneurial, or that have built their own brand either around their name or around a company name or a lifestyle, whatever that is, and you might be surprised. So maybe you go back through the first 10 pages of Google, and I'm sure you will find something. So if I scroll down, let's see, just ultimate paleo guide as an example. Let's see if I notice anything here. Get your free paleo starter guide. Well, boom. So right off the bat, no notifications. Right off the bat, that tells me that he or she is collecting a name and an email, right? So what are they doing? They're building a list. This is on the first page of Google too. A little bit lower, but I can guarantee you they are getting tremendous amounts of search traffic just from this one thing alone. Now, we don't know what type of advertising that they're doing or anything else. You'd have to consult some of the analytics tools that I referenced in Module 1 of this training course. But we do know they're building a list. So this tells me this particular person could be a good thing. I would get on their list to see what they are all about and potentially, look at the contributors. Is this a very large publication? What is their size? If we click the About Ultimate Paleo Guide. They even offer opportunities probably to potentially advertise. See if they have any links down below. They don't. Some of these websites do offer opportunities. A team of real people who care. Well, let's go back to the About again and look at contributors. Joel is the creator. Oh, you can direct message him on Twitter, you know. So yeah, that's great that he put his Twitter handle right on there. Let's go back to the About section. Who's behind the site? See if that brings me to the same page. I guess not. Oh, there you go. People who care. So that tells me, again, he's got it. Oh, look at this. An exit pop-up. This one is even better. So I like what they did here. This is a very hard, like, boom, lose weight and get healthy. Join over 100,000 people getting real results on the paleo diet. Wow. Now, if that's a true claim and they've got over 100,000 people on this list, well, in the event you were to land something with them, a joint venture partnership, who knows? That could be an extra 5, 10, 20,000 or more if you have a very compelling offer to the right list at the right time. I've seen some incredible things about this. And also, think about a joint venture partnership as kind of like sometimes it's like a free way to do a solo ad. I've done a tutorial on how to establish solo ads in this module when selling online courses, but joint venture partnerships a lot of times are free, but it's about the leverage that you bring to the table. So if you have a list, a very large list, and it resonates and you work something out, yeah, there could be some type of free cross promotion going on. Other times you might have to make them money first or get on their radar, like the other ways that we talked about, including making a potential connection. There have been so many times in my life, going back to this same scenario, where I've had other people introduce me and make connections, and I don't forget those assets because that's what they are. You need to hold those people very, very close to you. This world is so flaky, and if you can find gems, diamonds in the rough like that, you keep them very close to you. So I speak from experience and how important that can be. I like this, what I see though. They're building a list. This is one example. You would do the same thing on Google AdWords and go through the first 5 or 10 pages of Google. Real quick, let me show you a tool that you can use if you want to try to get a good email address or contact information for maybe the admin or the owner of the site. This sometimes can be a good idea. Other times, maybe not. If they have a specific point person that they say, hey, for all joint venture inquiries, contact this person, or for press, contact this person, I would go by their recommended channel of communication, what they prefer, because the last thing you want to do is go against their protocol and procedure. You might not ever get a chance after that because you didn't follow the instructions. Now, those are gatekeepers, and some people will have them for a reason. I get it. I have gatekeepers. But you still need to approach it from the best channel, and as you be an asset, as you comment on their Twitter posts. Listen, if somebody's active on Twitter and Instagram, you can be rest assured if it's relevant to what I like and I think is valuable, I will make my name felt there in the comment section, comment on their post, add value to the comments. I will potentially try to connect them. I'll try to make them money, meet them at a live event so they will know for sure who I am, and not to mention potentially using Facebook advertising to target their followers. So there's a lot of ways you can definitely get your name in front of these right people, but you need to be very strategic with how you do it. So let's say that ultimatepaleoguy.com, I wanted to see who was the admin. I would go to a website called domaintools.com. And once there, you can see at the very upper right-hand corner, you can hit research. And once you do that, you can plug in any domain name that you want and hit search. And it'll bring back the who is information. This is the information of the site. Unfortunately, with many sites, you will have privacy, so you might not see a name and an email, but sometimes you will. Other times you're going to see, like what you see here, this registrant privacy. Sometimes the registrant will be a particular person's name, and you might get lucky. I've used this site in the past, but this is not the only way to try and contact. Use the strategies that I mentioned in this particular video to help form relationships and be a person of value for joint venture partners. I'm telling you, if you surround the market like what I just showed you how to do, you're going to get from point A to point B much, much faster by just harnessing this information and following the instructions. Joint venture partners have been arguably the most lucrative thing that I've done for many of my brands and businesses, and there's no reason why you can't do the same thing to establish these relationships that will keep you going, create win-wins for years and years to come. So hopefully you found this tutorial valuable. I'll see you on the next training.